Genuinely, what is the rationale behind allowing people who are addicted to drugs, homeless, cannot get their life together for whatever reason? Maybe they're mentally ill, maybe they happen to be down on their luck and then turn to drugs and now they're in full-blown addiction. What is the rationale behind letting them live on the streets?
I love this topic because one, there's really no objective way to go forward about it. But I love the conversations that surround it because it uncovers a lot of stuff, and depending on how in depth the conversations can go, that's how interesting it gets for me. But anyway, so she asks, why are asylums not a thing anymore? So generally, when the concept of asylums start, right, they're made to house uh, disadvantaged, problems of society, essentially. People that individuals in society can't take care of, that have very extreme issues, mental, physical, whatever have you. And then they would go to a state sponsored facility to where, workers and people that are supposed to be specialized with training or dealing with these kinds of people are able to take care of them and things like that on the white paper, right? We're in the age of crypto, so we know about the white paper, what the white paper says. Now, the reason why it ends up not ending up that way is because of human nature and money. Because you have the money. How does the money play a factor? So you have funding into these facilities. Sometimes they start out great. Sometimes by default they start out pretty, what is it, exploitative and things like that. And so what are you going to do then? As an individual, you can't save however many residents are inside of these facilities. All you can do is just point out the problem. And then it just kind of feels like a cancer at that point. It starts infecting other schools, other facilities, other residential buildings, and things of that nature. It kind of makes you think of, crappy landlords. It's pretty similar. If you have a bunch of facilities and there's not much funding going into those facilities, into the people and things like that, then you're going to have things fall apart internally. The way people are treated, the way treatment is done, what treatments are done, how people are housed, how people are grouped together, things like that, because now you're running on skeleton crews. The investment into the mission is depleted, and that's one of the big issues, right? So where do the asylums go? It's a question of sustainability and perspective. How do you look at trying to help people that have many varying intensities of illnesses and different kinds? Because you can't, the standard of care, that's another reason why asylums, end up not lasting very long. There's really, and this is just my personal theory, there's really no like true standard of care that you can carbon copy from one patient to the other. There could be intersectionalities, but you can't do the same one for one standard of care for everyone. Everyone is different. So that creates a huge problem. The more residents that you bring into these kinds of facilities, the more intricate problems that you're bringing in, and you're not bringing in more people or more specialists, you're just tacking on the caseload to the managers and stuff like that. Think of the welfare system now. That's a big problem that we're dealing with right now. It's kind of like the asylums minus the central facility. Well, besides the welfare office when we have to go up for benefits and stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying. If you don't have the investment to be able to sustain something like this is how it deteriorates even faster, right? It all comes from the intent of the investors because unfortunately, how are you going to have someone who's mentally challenged invest into their own care? They can't cognitively do it. So, but this also brings in something else that's very, very interesting as well. Humans are the only species of animal that can come up with these things like asylums and things like that. If we were any other species of animal, there's so many of us that would have gone to the wayside, including myself. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Trust me, I'm well aware. And on one hand, it's beautiful that we are able to take the abilities that we have to try and come up with solutions like this. But then we kind of see more of like our true, I don't want to say animalistic, but more of our true natures come into fruition when we feel like there's a problem that's too big for us. We kind of just develop this cognitive dissonance and just either treat it with like a baseline, kind of apathy, like, all right, I'm here, I just got to do it, whatever. You're not going to care about it at all. Hence the workforce we have today. So I'm not trying to deduce everything down to be like, oh well, just throw money at things, But it's like a two-pronged thing. It's like a money and a public message kind of thing. How do we talk about helping each other? How do we talk about being there for each other? Or do we kind of set it as more or less as like an expectation? I'm already seeing the mismatched vibes.